Next is precipitation reaction. Precipitation reactions are the most important part in chapter number 4. Before going to discuss these reactions, let's discuss one example here. If I prepare solution of NaCl, now today we shall discuss only NaCl. NaCl is easy to find in our kitchen. I prepare NaCl solution, and in another beaker I prepare AgNO3 solution, silver nitrate, AgNO3 solution. Okay, now we have two solutions. Okay, after preparing these two solutions, I mix these two solutions. I put this AgNO3 solution in NaCl solution. Now when you mix these two solutions, after mixing here, you will see one white solid substance, white solid. Now, upon mixing of two or more than two solutions, a solid is separated, and this solid is known as precipitate. Tarasab. Remember? Precipitate. Upon mixing of two or more than two substances, a solid substance is formed. Then this solid is known as precipitate. And reaction between NaCl and AgNO3 is known as precipitation reaction. Yes, boys. Any question?
Can you repeat?
Yes. Why not? Let me delete this again. Okay. Suppose we prepare two solutions. Okay. One is NaCl and other is AgNO3 solution. When you mix these two solutions, after mixing, here you will find white solid substance. This white solid substance is known as precipitate. And reaction between these two solutions, between NaCl and AgNO3, it is known as precipitation reaction. Now question is, this white, yes.
How do we know if it's precipitation reaction without lab?
Okay, how do you know it is precipitation reaction or not? Okay, I am coming to this one. Okay, friends, now this here it is white solid substance. Now my question is, it is AgCl or NaNO3?
I think both.
No, it's one. How do you know? And why? Basically, this white solid substance is AgCl. What happens when we mix these two solutions? There is a reaction between sodium chloride and AgNO3. AgCl and NaNO3 is formed. This AgCl is insoluble in water. Now it is insoluble, it becomes solid here. So it is known as precipitate. Now question is, how do you know it is soluble or insoluble? It is soluble or insoluble? This is our today's discussion now. Okay, friends, now listen it carefully. How do you know this compound, this ionic compound is soluble or insoluble in water? Okay, these ions, nitrate, bicarbonate, acetate, chlorate, perchlorate, all these ions are here. Now, first group elements, let's write first group elements: lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. Also francium, but we shall not discuss that francium because it is radioactive. But also ammonium. Ammonium ion is not present in periodic table, but you will consider it is also present in first group with these metals. Okay. Now rule number 1. When you see these ions in any compound, that compound will be soluble. Okay, suppose I write sodium sulfate Na2SO4. Is it soluble or insoluble?
Soluble.
It is soluble. Yes, because of sodium. First group. When you see first group, then it is soluble. Simple. This is rule number 1. And when you see this ammonium, it is also soluble. Suppose I ask you NH4Cl, soluble or insoluble? It is also soluble.
Soluble.
Yes. Okay. So what is rule number 1? When you see these ions, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and ammonium in any compound, in any ionic compound, that compound will be soluble in water. Rule number 2. These first 5 ions here. When you see these ions present in any compound, that compound will be soluble. Soluble. So if I ask you AlNO3 thrice, aluminium nitrate, is it soluble or insoluble?
Soluble.
It is soluble. Why? Because of NO3.
Nitrate.
Very good. Excellent. If I say AClO3,
Soluble.
Soluble because of the
soluble.
potassium.
Very good. First group. Okay.
Potassium.
CaClO4 twice. Is it soluble or insoluble?
Soluble.
It
Because
is
of chlorine.
soluble. Very
of
good.
the
Because of perchlorate. Why is clear this one?
Yes.
Yes.
This is rule number 2. Okay. Come to rule number 3. Here next we have chloride, bromide, iodide. Cl, Br, and I. When you see these ions in any compound, that compound will be soluble. Yadu. But when you see these ions with these 3 elements Ag, Hg, and Pb, it is insoluble. La yadu. Insoluble.
Again, doctor.
So if I say CaCl2, okay, I will repeat it. Yes, CaCl2. It is
Soluble.
soluble or it is soluble.
Soluble.
But if I write AgCl,
Not soluble.
Insoluble.
not soluble. Very good. Very good. So
Ag,
these
doctor.
ions, now listen it again. If these ions are present with any element, then compound will be soluble. But if these ions are present with these 3, Ag, Hg, and Pb, it is insoluble. Okay. If I write FeCl3, soluble or insoluble?
Soluble.
Soluble.
If I write CuCl2, soluble or insoluble?
Soluble.
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 If I write PbCl2,
Insoluble.
it is insoluble. It is insoluble because of Pb.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, okay, friends, these are 3 rules. Now come to rule number 4, SO4.
Okay, doctor. I have
SO4,
question.
yes,
If chlorate compound with Ag, it's soluble or insoluble?
this one chlorate,
Yes.
Soluble.
it is soluble. When you see this chlorate, it is soluble. This
Yes.
rule Ag, Hg, Pb only for Cl,
Yes.
Br, and I up to rule number 3. Okay.
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 Just with
Now,
these 3 elements.
yes,
Ions.
yes. Okay. Next, SO4, rule number 4. Okay, friends, SO4 attached with any element, then compound will be soluble. Soluble, yadu. But if SO4 attached with these 3, same. These 3, Ag, Hg, and Pb. Same, these three. And last three elements of group 2, Ca, calcium, strontium, and barium. These are three elements from periodic table, second group. So with these 6, SO4 is insoluble. 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 So be careful. Okay. Now, if I have one example here, if I write CuSO4, soluble or insoluble?
Soluble.
Soluble. CaSO4, soluble or insoluble?
Soluble. Soluble.
Insoluble.
Why?
Why, doctor?
Because calcium here, Ca, it is present here.
Oh, okay.
I told you with these 6, it is insoluble. Okay?
Yes, yes.
Good. Okay. Okay, students, last 5 ions, these. If these are present with any element, then compound will be insoluble. Insoluble. Okay? When you see these 5 ions with any element, that compound will be insoluble. But we have one exception here, OH. OH present with Ba, barium. It is soluble. So BaOH wise it is soluble. But if I say AlOH thrice, it is soluble or insoluble?
Insoluble.
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 Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay, students, clear this one?
Yes.
Wait, doctor.
Yes.
The last group.
If these ions, when you see these ions in any compound, that compound will be insoluble. Compound will be insoluble with all these. But if OH has one exception, istasna. What is that exception? If OH present with Ba, it is soluble. If OH present with any other element, it is insoluble.
Doctor,
Clear this one? Yes.
phosphate with soluble or
Phosphate with Ba,
yes?
insoluble. This rule is only for OH. This exception is for OH only.
So, doctor, phosphate, whenever attached with any element, it's insoluble.
Insoluble, yes. Other than
Whatever
first
the
group.
element is.
Other than first group.
Other than first group. Okay.
Yes, first group is always soluble. Even if these are present with first group, these are soluble. Okay?
What, doctor?
Wait. Here it is. Suppose I ask you CaCO3. It is soluble or insoluble? Now listen it carefully.
Soluble.
Listen. Look, first you will find rule number 1. What is rule number 1? First group or ammonium
First
ion,
group.
is it here?
No.
No. Move to rule number 2. Then you have to find first 5 ions. What are those? NO3, HCO3, acetate, chlorate, and perchlorate. Any of these ions are present in this compound? No. Okay, come to rule number 3. What is rule number 3? Cl, Br, and I. Chloride, bromide, iodide.
No.
These are present here?
No.
No. So move to rule number 4. SO4. SO4 present here?
No.
No. So move to rule number 5. Rule number 5 says if carbonate, sulfide, chromate, phosphate, and OH, these are present with any element, it is insoluble. So is there any ion present from here?
Yes.
Yes.
CO3 present. It means it is
Insoluble.
insoluble.
Doctor, what is the first rule?
What is?
Rule number 1. What is it?
Rule number
First
1, first group elements, metals, first group metals, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium,
Should I save
cesium.
this? Just this?
You have to save these ions. And these are present in your product table. So no need to save because product table will be present in your exam, okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
but ammonium, it's not in product table. So we should know.
So save only one ion. Okay? Now, Na2CrO4. It is soluble or insoluble? It is
For the first
soluble.
group.
It's soluble.
First group.
First
Soluble.
check first group. It is soluble.
Yes.
These rules here, this table is present in your book, but I had modified this table here in these rules. Now you see here. So all these 5 rules are written here in your slides. So don't worry about this one. Okay.